It's apparently live. Hello, good morning, good afternoon. Hello, you guys. It's so good to see you. Welcome to the very last Wednesday of October. How in the world did this happen? I tell you what, every time we get to one of these, I'm like, how did another month go by already? You guys, it's so good to see you. I see we've already got some hellos over in the chat. I'm just going to tell you, I am not great at reading names. I am not great at following along with the chat. I do my best. That's how we do on these lives. Francis says, good afternoon from the UK. Sarah says, she's really looking forward to further fun and insights from you today. Thank you so much. That's a really nice thing to say. Oh my gosh, from Ireland. It's very cool. Karen is here from Central Oregon. Agam Speak is here from Delaware. Sarah is here with a little bit of sun in Northwest Missouri. Oh, thank goodness. We are gray and cloudy this morning. Still supposed to be really nice here in Sacramento, but it is gray and cloudy and cold right now. You guys, I'm wearing a sweater. It's California cold, which means that it's like 50 degrees or something like that. But it's freezing for me. Debbie, good morning from Louisiana. It's so good to see you. Hello, Donna from Toronto. Tanya, I'm assuming I'm saying your name correctly. You guys, as I already mentioned, not great at reading names. If I mispronounce your name, I promise it's not on purpose. And I have more sympathy for you than like normal people. I have spent my entire life correcting how people pronounce my name. So I apologize if I get yours wrong. But anyways, Tanya, I think, says good morning. It's cold here in Utah. Amy says good morning from chilly Minnesota. Oh my gosh. Jessie is here from Montana. CR is here from Pennsylvania. Sarah says she's been wearing her winter coat with temps in the 30s. I can imagine temperatures in the 30s because we do get that cold. We get that cold like overnight. We rarely have daytime temperatures in the 30s. That's really, really, really cold for California. Rebecca, hello. Good to see you. Debbie says welcome from Israel. Oh my goodness. Okay, here's something I noticed. You guys, if you are not on Facebook, actually, okay, let me say it this way. If you are on Facebook also, come and join the Killer Beehive, which is my very private, personal, very interactive Facebook group. I've noticed, because I do a Q&A in there every Friday. And it's super fun, super interactive. And I've noticed that every single time one person says hello from someplace, somebody else almost immediately afterwards is from the same place. And it's so cool how you guys come by twos like Noah's Ark. Anna says hi. Sandy says good morning from chilly Ontario, Canada. You guys are using chilly way differently than I am. Jessie says it's 7 degrees in Montana. Oh my gosh. Now 7 degrees, I literally cannot imagine. We here in Central California, I'm going to say we definitely get down into the 20s. Like we do a hard frost maybe a dozen times a year overnight. I don't get snow. We rarely even have I've never had freezing rain or anything like that. I honestly cannot picture what 7 degrees feels like. That is much colder than we get here. Brr. Maureen says, good afternoon from London, England. Oh my gosh. Donna says, how do you say your name? I say my name, Paula. You've heard me say that before. It's Pahla B. Tammy says, it's cold and raining in Graham, Texas. Oh my goodness. Another Tammy says that good morning from Marquette, Michigan. Am I feel like that's Michigan. You guys, here we are. Thank goodness I do not run a geography channel. Okay. You guys tell me where you're from. And I'm like, I have no idea where that is. It's somewhere over there. Karen says, good morning from Washington. Now, Washington, I know where that is. Thank goodness. I was actually born there. Wendy, hello from Loughborough, who I always say the name of your town wrong or your place wrong. Loughborough, UK. Janice says, good morning from New Mexico. Denise says, White House Station, New Jersey. Oh my gosh. You guys, you're from so many great places. The Y teacher is from Dubai. Oh my goodness. Good morning, sunshine from Burbank, California. I hope you are doing okay with the Orange County fires down there. My goodness. Kate is here from Indiana, chilly in the 40s. I can understand the 40s. 40s we get to, for sure. You guys, let's answer some questions, shall we? That's what we do here on the monthly Q&A. Super excited to see everybody. Oh, Jonna says that's what I would have guessed. You got my name right too, but people seem to want to complicate it. Isn't that the truth? I have had more people try to complicate my name than simply look at it and try and pronounce it because it's spelled differently. Everybody tries to do more to it than necessary. I've actually, more often than I get called Pamela because I don't know why, but that is a name that I have been called a lot of times in my life. I actually answer to it sometimes because it's just easier. You guys, I have questions in a couple of different places. I posted over on my Facebook page, which by the way is different from the Facebook group that I have. I know it gets really complicated. I know it gets really complicated, but I post things on my Facebook page, to let people know that I have new videos and stuff like that. So I had a couple of questions from over there that I'm going to go ahead and get started on really quickly. Rowena says, I have done body shaping for 2 rounds already. 2 months already, which is very exciting. And I'm thinking about doing the 3rd round, hopefully. My question is that can I incorporate walking on a treadmill on any day? Now, here's the thing that I notice that I get a lot of questions like this about what can I do, what's okay to do. And I love questions like this because here's my answer. You can do anything you want. Isn't that amazing? For reals, you can do anything you want to do. Here's why you might be looking for some direction, though. You can do anything, but will it get you where you want to go? Will it get you what you want results-wise? And that's where I need to know, if you're going to ask me this question, I need to know, what do you want results-wise? Because you can walk on the treadmill every single day if you want to. Will that be too much exercise? Are you going to start getting into fat storage mode instead of fat loss mode or muscle building mode? Maybe. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. The only way to know for sure how your body is going to react to something is to try it. And that's really exciting. That means that you get to be the scientist rather than simply doing exactly what I say because I say it. You get to really pay attention. And Rowena, specifically, because you've been through 2 rounds of the body shaping series, you know how many times I've told you, pay attention. Pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to what you're eating. Pay attention to what's going on with your body. Pay attention to whether or not it feels like it's too much. And I always go like this when I say it feels like too much. Here's how I always know when I've done too much. My hands get really puffy. I feel puffy when I've done too much. That is how I know that I am kind of in the middle of an inflammation response, which is totally normal, by the way. Your body responds to all kinds of things by sending out inflammation, and that's not always like a bad thing. What it means, though, is that when you stay in an inflammation response, that's where things can get really tricky. Staying with inflammation can cause your body to store fat. It can cause your body to have other reactions. Chronic inflammation is actually the source of quite a few diseases we are finding out. I'm a scientist, but scientists are discovering that there are diseases that are actually have at their root chronic inflammation. So being careful of your inflammation, eating healthy foods, not doing too much or too little, drinking your water, sleeping well, all the things that we do to feel good and feel healthy, those are all things that you can pay attention to. So yes, you absolutely can walk on your treadmill every day if you want to. But pay attention to how you feel. Pay attention to what is too much. And the other thing that I'm going to have you think about is ask yourself why. I understand, I enjoy walking, so therefore that might be the only answer. But if you are thinking, I have to get a certain number of steps, or I have to, for whatever reason you might be thinking that you have to go for a walk every day, simply question that. If you are doing that to, for example, lose weight, then I'm going to have you actually come on over to the weight loss series versus the body shaping series. The body shaping series is not geared for weight loss. If you feel like you have to get X number of steps a day to be healthy, I'm going to tell you that is made up. It's 100% made up. And I feel like that came up in somebody else's question too, somewhere. I don't remember where it was. Maybe I just read that somewhere. Because you guys, I'm on Facebook a lot. I'm on YouTube a lot. Those are the only 2 places I really am, but I see lots of questions. I see lots of comments, and I forget where I see them from. So if you feel like you have to get in a certain number of steps per day, it's not really a requirement. You're welcome to. It's one way that you can measure the things that you're doing for yourself, but it's not the only way. And it's definitely not the best way to measure what you're doing for yourself. Debbie says, I have a question. Since doing your workouts, which I love, I'm not running at all, have fallen out with running. My question is, are your cardio workouts a good replacement for it and better for me? Now, here's the thing, Debbie. I don't know why you say you've had a falling out with running, which happens sometimes, but I don't know why exactly. I don't know why you're not running, so I don't know if this will be better for you. If you have something going on with your body, like pain, for example, I'm going to tell you, you definitely want to go talk to your doctor about whatever is hurting you and fix that before you do anything else. Taking care of your pain is like number one. And I'm just making an assumption here. You don't mention that you're in pain. I have no idea if you are or not. But I'm just going to tell you that if you have knee pain, back pain, hip pain, shoulder pain, whatever kind of pain, take care of that first. Go to a physical therapist. Resolve your pain before you try and do anything else. When you are pain-free, yeah, any kind of cardio is any kind of cardio. Anytime you raise your heart rate, it's all essentially the same thing. Whether or not it feels as good as running, I mean, you're talking to a runner. I don't think anything feels as good as running, but that's my personal opinion. So will it feel as good to you? Will you get what you want out of it? And is it healthy? It's absolutely healthy, for sure. Raising your heart rate over a relatively speaking, extended period of time, let's say anywhere between 10 to 30 minutes a day, is excellent for your heart health. It's excellent for you. So that will be good for you, healthy for you, as long as it's not exacerbating any pain you might have, which comes back to the thing, if you're in pain, make sure you take care of your pain. Stephanie says hello from Kansas City. Rita says hi. Thank you from British Columbia, Canada. Mary says good morning from Texas. I love it. All over the place, you guys. Shireen is here from Alberta, Canada. T. Allen is here from Texas also. This is what I was saying. You guys, you come on 2 by 2. I love it. I love it when everybody's here. Oh, and then Sarah is here from Houston, Texas too. I love it. Shakora. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much for telling me how to pronounce your name. You've lost 26 pounds. Congratulations. That's fantastic. And then my Texans are having a conversation about, hey, where are you from? I love it. I love it. The Y teacher says 1.5 months and 9 pounds gone. Oh my gosh. Sarah has lost 10 pounds down. I love it. Stephanie says totally off topic, but I love your hair. Thank you. That's never off topic. You guys. I love it when you say things like that about my hair or my glasses or whatever. I really appreciate that. It's a nice little ego boost for me. Shakora says, before and during the pandemic, over a year, exercise and plant-based. Awesome. Taking a rest break to respect a small pain in my back. Thank you for doing that. Resting when you have pain is the nicest thing you can do. And any pain that persists, coming back to our conversation, not necessarily you, Shakora, but just in general, any pain, my rule of thumb is that something that I feel for 3 days, it's time to call the doctor. I give myself 3 days because sometimes, I'm not going to say especially at this age, but I have noticed that I have weird pains more than I think I used to, or maybe I'm paying attention to them more than I used to. But anything that lasts 3 days or longer, it's like, you know what, let's just go ahead and get a professional opinion about this. If it's the same pain, if it hasn't changed, especially if it's getting worse. If it's getting worse, I'll call the doctor sooner than that. But if it's like the exact same pain for 3 days in a row that doesn't seem to be relieving, that I can't seem to roll out with a foam roller, that I don't really know exactly what happened or where it came from, 100% that's a call to the doctor. But I'm super proud of you for taking a rest break. Lots of us try and work through pain, and it almost never works out well, just so you know. And so Shakur also says that she's been at it 6 days a week at the age of 68. I love it. That is so cool. Denise says, I'm restarting the 31 days. I love it, as I did once. I did it once. Saw very little results. It's my diet. I have celiac and eat a lot of rice, and menopause is killing me, but I won't give up. That's such an interesting thing to think. I actually eat a lot of rice too. I eat rice. If there's 7 days a week, I probably eat rice at least 4 days a week. Rice in and of itself is not necessarily, I know you have celiac, but it's not necessarily the worst thing in the world. I don't know a lot about not obviously. I don't personally know a lot about celiac. I understand what it is. I understand that you have to be careful. I understand that there are some foods that are not great for you. I don't know if rice is one of them. I don't know that off the top of my head. But here's the thing. When you have your own situation, I'm not even going to call it a limitation. We all have limitations, and that seems like such a silly word to say it. We all have our own situations that we're dealing with, things that we like or don't like, things that our body likes or don't like. Working within that is part of our job as this route that we take. Like, part of our job in being healthy is to simply pay attention to, how does this feel? Do I like this? Do I not like this? How do I feel now? How do I feel later? I mean, it's why I gave up coffee, because I didn't love the way it made me feel afterwards. It's why I've given up. I mean, there are foods that I don't eat anymore. I always think of Cheetos when I say this. I used to love Cheetos. Like, I loved them. It was not difficult for me to go through a bag of Cheetos in 1 or 2 sittings. Like, and it would literally like replace dinner. It wasn't even necessarily like in addition to other things. It was just, I loved Cheetos, but I didn't love them after a while. Like, I've learned that certain foods don't settle well afterwards. They taste good going in, but they don't feel good once they are inside. And we all have to deal with that. It doesn't necessarily have anything to do with your weight. When you start paying attention to how you feel and what feels good, that's part of a weight loss journey. The other part of the weight loss journey is being really consistent with how much you eat. I mean, it does come down to how many calories you're eating every day. It's not necessarily what you're eating. Again, having said that, certain foods, especially if you have celiac, certain foods are definitely not going to react well with your body. So you want to be careful to not have those. But all of us have certain foods that don't feel amazing later, that we just have to make decisions about that. Do you still want to eat this? Yes or no? I actually still ate Cheetos while I was losing weight. Like the first time I lost weight a while ago, not really the first time. The first time I lost weight permanently, which sounds so funny. I've had a bobble in my weight since then, where it went up after my sister died and when I was doing too much, and when I first really started going through menopause and figuring out that doing too much was the problem and not the solution. So I had gained some weight back from there, but I haven't gained back so much that I haven't been able to get away from it. When I lost weight at 37, I actually still ate Cheetos while I was losing weight then. That's the time when I talk about losing weight permanently. That was the most weight I've ever lost. It was like a little over 30 pounds. So that time when I lost weight, I didn't change. I changed what I was eating in terms of like, I made sure that I was eating the same amount every day, but I didn't change what I was eating. I ate so much junk food while I was losing weight because it was how I ate at the time. I have since cleaned up my food a lot. I mean, I would not say that I eat clean, but I eat a lot healthier than I used to. And this is where I come from when I offer you that you don't necessarily have to eat clean. You don't necessarily have to eat low carb or keto or vegan or any of those kinds of things unless you want to. I strongly recommend that you just start where you are. Start eating the foods that you feel most comfortable with, but eat them in portions that get you to your calorie target every day and hit your calorie target every single day. After you get really consistent, that's when you can figure out what you want to eat. That's when you can figure out, hey, you know what? These Cheetos don't feel good the next day. I actually don't like the way coffee feels. I actually don't like this or that or the other thing. That's when you figure that out and you figure out what else you can put into your day that's going to take the same number of calories. You've got the rest of your life to figure out what you want to eat. While you're losing weight, all you got to do is pay attention to how much. Watch the calorie target. AM says, do you know much about reverse dieting, and can you just count protein and calories and let the fat and carbs fall where they may each day and still get good results? So I'm gonna question what kind of results you're looking for. I'm assuming that you're trying to lose weight. I don't know for sure. Generally speaking, when people are asking me about counting carbs or protein or calories or whatever, I assume you're losing weight because I don't count my calories at all anymore now that I'm not losing weight. When I'm doing body shaping, when I am training for races, when I am, living my life, I'll say, I actually do more of what I would consider intuitive eating, where I eat foods that I like in portions that feel good, and I don't worry very much about exactly how many calories they are because I've done the work on that. I've done the work on trusting myself. I've done the work on knowing approximately where I stand, and I really pay attention to how I feel. But here's your question about reverse dieting, and can you just count protein and calories? You can count whatever you want. The thing about counting your macros is that counting macros and counting calories are very similar in terms of like macros always have the same number of calories. Protein has a gram of protein has 4 calories. A gram of carbohydrate has 4 calories. A gram of fat has 9 calories. So when you're counting macros, you actually are counting calories. You would just have to do the math to convert it. But as far as like what kind of results you're trying to get, if you are eating a certain number of, or a certain amount of protein, maybe to specifically build muscle, for example, I have a hard time answering this question. I kind of let my macros fall where they may, personally, because sometimes I eat a lot of protein, sometimes I eat a little. My results that I am looking for isn't necessarily trying to build and maintain a certain amount of muscle. I'm always careful about my muscle. I do strength training. I do a lot of load-bearing exercises. I run. I try to stay fit. I'm not aiming, though, for a really specific like percentage of body fat or a percentage of body muscle. That's the only time that I would be counting like protein personally, is if I was aiming to build muscle in a really specific way. And honestly, that it's a little bit outside of my personal experience because that's never been my goal. And I haven't really worked with clients who are looking to build muscle like that. It's not really my area of expertise. If you are counting whatever you want to count in terms of losing weight, yeah, I let the macros fall where they may. And again, this is what I'm going to tell you about: start where you are and then make changes as you go. Trying to make a lot of changes all at once, in my opinion, never really sticks, because you're thinking about so many things that there's like an overload in your brain of how much can I pay attention to. You really can't pay attention to that many new things all at once. So when you start where you are and simply get consistent with your number of calories altogether, then you can start making changes as you get consistent. Once you've figured out how to be consistent, then you won't have to think about that as much anymore. Then you can figure out what you want to do with your macros. Then you can figure out like, hey, you know what? This much protein feels really good, or this much protein actually feels kind of full, kind of funky, or whatever. It depends on you, however you feel. But I'm going to tell you that paying attention to how you feel is your number one indicator of the kind of results that you might get. When you really tune in to the signals that your body is sending you, it tells you pretty much everything you need to know. Truly, truly. Monica says hello from Indianapolis. It's so nice to see you. MM says hello from Holland. One day at a time with Angela. Hello. Good morning from Southern California. And again, I hope you're doing okay with the fires down there. Good to see you, Angela. I've been meaning to watch your latest video, you guys, if you go through the chat. One day at a time with Angela is on a weight loss journey right now, and she has a YouTube channel where she documents all about that. Corey says, I've been keeping my calories at my target, 1,500, for 2 months. Haven't lost any weight. What am I doing wrong? You know what, Corey? There could be a couple of different things going on there. Without more numbers, it's really hard for me to troubleshoot. Your calorie target might not be exactly right. You might very well be doing too much exercise. I'm not going to say too little, because there's almost no such thing. When you're eating the right number of calories, that is the main driver of weight loss. You do not have to exercise at all to lose weight, but you might be doing too much. When you are exercising too much and not eating enough, your body goes into fat storage mode because it feels stressed out, because our primitive biological response to stress, our only biological response to stress, is to store fat because your body thinks that it's a famine. You might not be sleeping very well. You might not be drinking enough water. You might not be managing your mental stress as part of it that comes along with the physical stress. There's actually quite a few things that might be going on. The other thing that I'm going to tell you is that when you say, I haven't lost any weight, that doesn't necessarily mean that you haven't lost any weight. I've learned after working with hundreds of clients that you might have actually lost a couple of pounds, but in your mind that doesn't feel like very much. So when you're telling me I haven't lost any weight, I'd love to back that up with numbers. I really, really strongly suggest that you really take a look at numbers and objective data to find out exactly what's going on. Literally, count how many hours of sleep you get at night. Count up exactly how many ounces of water you drink every day. Count up exactly how many calories you are eating every single day. Sometimes, and this is not necessarily you, but sometimes somebody will say, oh yeah, I've been watching my calorie target, but they're, 200 over or 200 under and fluctuating back and forth. And sometimes really hitting it on the money, sometimes kind of not. Your body might still be having trouble with too much fluctuation. I will tell you that more often than not, when people come to me wanting to lose weight, I know you all think that you are eating too much and not exercising enough because we've been hearing that forever in our lifetime, that you need to eat less and move more. What I have found way, way, way more often is that lots of us are actually just eating really inconsistently and or chronically under eating. So if you're saying you're actually truly hitting your calorie target, 1,500 calories on the money, that's fantastic. If you're actually like, well, I'm 1,500 or under, and sometimes that's like 1,300 or 1,200 or whatever, that's not the same thing as actually hitting your calorie target. There's lots of reasons why you might not be losing weight. And sometimes it's calories, but most of the time it's actually more consistency with the calories. And so that's the first thing I'm going to have you look at. Without knowing the rest of your numbers and exactly everything that's going on, I'm really hesitant to tell you, oh, change this one or that thing. What I'll tell you though is to really objectively look at your data. If you're losing a half a pound a week, you're actually really successfully losing weight, like really, really successfully. In 2 months, that's what, 4 pounds? 4 pounds, I know, it doesn't feel like much. It feels like it's taking forever. It feels like I haven't lost any weight. But 4 pounds in 2 months would be successful weight loss. So take a look at your actual numbers before you come to any conclusions. Primitive Daisy, I love that name, says, good morning from Wisconsin. I found your workouts while searching for knee-friendly workouts until I have surgery for a meniscus tear. Oh my goodness. Good luck with that surgery. Janet says, good morning. I've lost 70 pounds and have kept it off for over 2 years and in good shape. I love it. I love your walking with weights workouts. Can I do those daily? So Janet, yes, you can. I will ask why you want to, though. You probably heard that in my voice when I said, yes, you can. I personally suggest that you get more variety than that. And I say that as somebody who loves to run every day. I always kind of like laugh at myself when I tell you, oh, you need a lot of variety in your exercise. I run, not every day. I used to for a long time. I don't run every day anymore, but I loved running every day. So I understand this thought of, but I love to do this. So I get that. But I'm going to tell you that a little bit of variety might be a good thing for you. If you are looking to really maintain like your muscle health and your bone density health, I'm going to suggest that you actually lift something heavier, maybe once or twice a week. Do like the slow moving strength training, which I'm going to guess is kind of boring for you. I mean, if you love the walking with weights, you probably really like the high energy stuff. Again, I'm a cardio girl. I hear you on this, but I'm going to tell you that doing slow moving things, it's good for you. It just is. Once or twice a week is really fantastic with something slightly heavier where you can really be thinking and concentrating on your form, really focusing on your core strength, really focusing on building muscle in a way that cardio toning builds muscle, don't get me wrong, but it's a different system rather than, it's called fast twitch and slow twitch. When you do well, and they're actually both still kind of fast twitch, but there's different kinds of muscle work that we do. When you are doing walking with weights, you're doing cardio toning, you're doing muscle endurance. That is where you are training your body how to lift a little bit of weight, a lot of reps over a relatively long period of time. When you are doing what I would consider strength training with heavier weights and fewer reps, you are building a different system with your muscles. Both of them are building muscles, but you're building a different system with your muscles. You're training more for muscle power than muscle endurance. And the fact is, we need both of those things. On the extremely rare occasion that you need to lift something heavy a couple of times, you will have trained for it rather than just training for the muscle endurance of being able to do a little bit over a long period of time. I'm also going to suggest that you do probably some stretching and some core work in addition to the walking with weights. So again, yes, you can technically do them daily, but a little bit of variety would probably go a long way in your routine. Tammy says, when you run, is it normal to have a little knee pain? I am new to running, and when my knees start to hurt, I tend to stop running. No, that's a good thing. You say kind of wimpy, but no, that's a good thing. Pain means stop. It really does. There's discomfort and there's pain. Generally speaking, your joints aren't going to feel discomfort. Your muscles are going to feel discomfort. Your lungs are going to feel discomfort. Your brain is definitely going to feel some discomfort. For sure. But generally speaking, joint pain is pain, and therefore it means it's a hard stop. It's nope, we don't do anything more than this. I'm going to suggest that you talk to your doctor, Tammy, just really briefly to make sure that there's nothing going on with your particular gait pattern or muscle movement pattern or anything like that, to see if there's an issue there. I'm also going to suggest that if you haven't already, that you do strength training and core strengthening. Both of those things are really going to help you with learning how to run. And again, I'm going to tell you that don't call yourself wimpy. Stopping when you're in pain is actually a skill. As far as I'm concerned, stopping when you're in pain takes even more strength than pushing through. Lots of us would much rather push through because we think we have to do this or that or the other thing, and then we end up hurting ourselves even worse. So stopping when you're in pain is a really, really good skill to have, and I'm super proud of you. Talk to your doctor and do strength training. And you might simply be doing too much too soon. I mean, that happens to all of us too. We get excited. Running feels good. Yay, let's go run. And if you're used to working out, I know I can work out for 30 minutes a day. This isn't hard for me. Trying to learn how to run 30 minutes, way too much. Way too much. Even if you are already rather fit, starting at 30 minutes is way too much for a really repetitive exercise like running. I would start you at 5, maybe 10 minutes. And that doesn't sound like much. And I would actually start you with that 5 or 10 minutes with a lot of walking in there too. Learning to run is really boring, really boring. You have to start with so little. And if you're already in shape, it feels like nothing. Thankfully, I started running when I wasn't exercising at all. I didn't know how to exercise. So for me, it was 10 minutes was woo, I'm done, baby. So I gave myself the gift of patience because I didn't know better. But if you are already working out, it might really feel like it's not enough. And I'm not going to tell you it's not enough, but I'm going to tell you that you're welcome to do something else on those days when you're learning to run, because it is so short and so not much that if you're used to doing more, you're going to push yourself too hard to try and make an entire workout out of running when you first start. Ashley says, just here to say I think you're an incredible human. Oh, and I love doing your workouts. What a nice thing to say. Thank you, Ashley. That was very kind of you. Sharon says, good afternoon from London, England. I love it. Shining Jewel. Oh my gosh, I just found you last night and did one of your strength training videos. Shining Jewel, that is so exciting. Welcome. Welcome to the hive where we have lots of buzzing killer bees. This is so fantastic. Sandy says, I see a lot of questions regarding motivation. Can you give some tips regarding motivation? Can I ever? I love it. Motivation, you guys. First of all, I'm going to give a little plug. If you don't already listen to my podcast, the Fitness Matters podcast, this is the kind of thing that we actually talk about a lot. We talk about the mindset behind your fitness journey. And motivation it's a mindset. Motivation is actually a feeling. And a feeling of motivation can drive lots of actions. But what happens before that feeling is that we have a thought. This is how it always works. Like everything in the world works like this. You have a thought. It creates a feeling. Your feelings drive your actions, and then from your actions, you can produce results. But we all love to start with either the action or the feeling part of it. And we kind of forget that neither one of those things exist in a vacuum. You can't just do something because you want to do it. You have to have the feeling behind it. And sometimes there's a real disconnect because you're thinking, oh, I want to go work out, so therefore I should go work out. But then we don't work out because you're actually having some other thought that maybe you can't hear. And this happens to all of us, just FYI. There are probably anywhere in the neighborhood of like 40 to 60,000 thoughts going through your head a day. You are not going to hear them all. You're just not. Don't even try and listen. You will go cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs if you're trying to hear all 60,000 of your thoughts. But just know that when you are consciously thinking to yourself, I should go work out, what might be happening in that case is that there's actually another thought, something along the lines of, I don't want to, every time I work out, it hurts, I'm going to get sweaty and I have to wash my hair later. all kinds of thoughts that we all have that maybe you're just not even hearing are going around in the background there. And one or more of those thoughts is causing a feeling of demotivation. You have this thought, I should work out, and you think to yourself, I should feel motivated from this, and then I will go work out. But I will tell you, for me personally, that thought, I should go work out, creates in me a feeling of dread. Like when you say it, I should go work out. Does that feel motivating? It doesn't. When you sit with just that thought, I should go work out. Sounds like a chore to me. It sounds like something I would dread. It sounds yucky. It sounds like something I don't want to do. Even that thought in and of itself, which we're trying to use to motivate ourselves, let alone all the other thoughts about having to wash my hair later and all that kind of stuff. So what you need to do to be motivated is to find a thought that's actually motivating. Like to really think for a while about what feels motivating. Not just I want to be skinny. That might actually feel motivating short term, but then you're going to have to think that every time you want to be motivated. What might be more motivating for you is I'm going to feel so good after I work out. That's something that works for me when I don't really feel like doing something. I know I'm going to feel better afterwards, and sometimes I can remind myself of that. Sometimes, honestly, the other thing that I will tell you is that sometimes you don't actually need to be motivated. Sometimes you just need to be determined. Sometimes you just need to feel confident. Sometimes you just need to feel happy or excited. There are all kinds of ways to get where you want to go, and it doesn't always come back to feeling motivated. But it does always, always, always come back to your thoughts. When you are thinking, gee, I don't want to, or that doesn't sound like fun, or that's going to hurt, or then I'm going to have to wash my hair, or all those other kinds of things, those thoughts, not one of them is going to drive the kind of feeling or create the kind of feeling that's going to drive the action of exercising. So be really careful about what you're thinking about your exercise. Esma says, I've been doing your workouts, running, yay, and I've lost 4 kilograms in 5 weeks. Thank you. Oh my gosh, that's really exciting. Congratulations to you. Laura says, I'm struggling with a sweet tooth and going over my daily calories. Laura, speaking of the Fitness Matters podcast, I just did a podcast this past Sunday. I don't have a way to give, I probably do, but I don't know how I would grab the link, so I apologize. Any place you listen to podcasts, you can find the Fitness Matters podcast. If you want to watch the videos on YouTube, they're really boring. It's literally just it's the thumbnail for however long the podcast lasts. But you can also find the Fitness Matters podcast here on YouTube. And I strongly suggest that you listen to last week's. It was an episode about dealing with cravings, about it's interesting because it comes back to what we were just saying about motivation. A craving is actually a feeling. And what you're saying about I have a sweet tooth is a thought. When you think I have a sweet tooth and you feel a craving for something sweet, that will drive the action of probably going and getting something sweet. Or if it doesn't, it'll probably drive actions of trying to resist and feeling all kinds of other feelings and having all kinds of other thoughts and feeling very tense and probably unmotivated and very struggling with getting results. When you realize that thinking of yourself as somebody with a sweet tooth is actually an option, it's a thought. It's a thought you think about yourself. And you might have all kinds of evidence that this is true and that this is a thing, but it's still a thought. It's a thing that you are thinking about yourself that's optional. And you could choose to think something else. You could think to yourself, I'm a person who can stay within my calorie limit even if I eat sweets. That would be okay too. This comes back to what we were talking about before. I personally feel very strongly that you should start eating what you eat already and make it fit into your calories. When you see how little you get to eat of junk food versus the volume of food that you get to eat of healthy foods, part of that was really motivating to me. Even though, like I said, I lost weight eating junk food, part of that was really motivating to me to be able to eat more because it had fewer calories and was healthier of the healthier foods. You can, however, eat anything you want. I make room in my day for sweets every day. I love sweets. I don't have any interest in not eating sweets. I just make it work. I make it work for where I am. It doesn't take up a huge portion of my day. I have a small amount of sweets, but I eat sweets. I don't think that is a problem for me being a healthy person and getting my goals. When you think that it's a barrier and that it's part of why you can't stay within your calorie target, that's a thought. It's a thought. And you're welcome to change that thought because when something isn't true and you're capable of thinking something else, you might as well, right? If thinking something else gets you where you want to go, think the other thing. CR says, can you talk about sleep? Yes, I can. I don't feel I sleep very well in menopause. So this is one of those things that, yes, it's partially a thought and partially some physical things going on. You can do what you can do to help with your sleep habits, and you can think that you are doing your best with your sleep. Even if you have the objective data on your Fitbit that says that your sleep wasn't great, even if you wake up a million times in the night, even if you feel that feeling of I'm not sleeping very well is a thought. I'm not sleeping very well. And we can get really concerned about that. When you tell yourself over and over again, I'm not sleeping well, I'm not getting enough sleep, this is really hard, it's hard to sleep, I'm having a hard time with this, menopause is causing me to not sleep well. Those thoughts can really feel very true. But you can also just as easily remind yourself that you're doing what you can. And then, of course, that will help you do what you can. I'm going to suggest that you have a sleep routine. I mean, I suggest that you have a routine for everything. I'm a very routine girl. I love my routines. I have a morning routine. I have an evening routine. I have routines for setting up for lives. I have a routine for setting up for filming. I have a routine for each of my days. I have a routine for planning my days. I have a routine for my week. I've got lots and lots of routines because it helps me feel very, very secure. Like I'm going and doing all the things that I can do to be as successful as I want to be. When I have a routine for how I run my business, I feel very confident that my business is going to continue to grow, that I'm going to meet my business goals. When you have a routine for your sleep, it can help you feel confident that you're going to be able to sleep. And I know that sometimes that's not going to work out very well. Some days I lose more subscribers than I gain. Just because I have a routine doesn't make sure that everything every day goes my way perfectly all the time. That's not really what the routine is for. The routine is for your brain to do a couple of things. Number one, a routine, Pavlov proved this. A routine helps your brain get in the right mode to simply do things rote. When when you see my beautiful face, every time we do a workout together, we're going to start with the same warm up. When we start with that warm up, you know that we are going into a workout. That's Pavlovian. You can do that with a sleep routine as well. You can start relaxing your body, an hour before you go to bed by starting to do the same things. I have a nighttime routine. I turn off my computer. I make sure the kitchen is clean. I kind of tidy up a little bit. I put on my sleep clothes. I get out my pillow because my dog sleeps on my bed during the day and I don't like it when my pillow smells like my dog. So I keep my pillow in the closet so it doesn't smell like Blossom. So I get out my pillow. I brush my teeth. I do all the things that I do getting ready for bed that help my body and my brain know that it's time to sleep. I don't just go fall into bed, at whatever time. And that's the other thing. I actually do have a time that I go to bed every night as well. So when I do all those things in a row, my brain knows that it's time to go to sleep. The other thing that I do for my brain is one of my nighttime routine things is that I actually go over everything that I'm going to do tomorrow. And if I have notes about them, like if I'm recording a podcast, I take some notes about this is what I want to make sure I say on the podcast. If I have a video, a workout video that I'm filming, I take notes about, okay, this is what I'm going to be filming. I try really hard to get all the thoughts out of my brain and onto paper with notes so that I don't lay in bed going, oh, that's right, tomorrow I have to do this. Oh, that's right, tomorrow I have to do that. It's already written down. It's taken care of. I don't have to think about it anymore because it's already out of my brain and on the piece of paper. And all I have to do tomorrow is look at the piece of paper and I'm going to have all the notes that I need. So when you do the things that you can do to help you sleep, again, I'm not guaranteeing that that's going to give you better sleep, but it will help you feel like you're doing what you can. And part of that is actually kind of accepting what you can control and accepting what you can't. Hot flashes, you don't control. Hot flashes, you can do your best. You can make sure that you're exercising regularly. You can make sure that you're eating healthy foods. You can make sure that you are, drinking enough water. All those kinds of things that we can do to help ourselves doesn't mean that you control that. It means that you're helping. When you are doing the things that you can do to help yourself, you need to remind yourself that that is what you can do, that these are the things that I control and I've taken care of them. I've checked them all off my list and then my body's going to do what it's going to do. And sometimes that is the hard part, letting your body do what it's going to do when you want to control it, and then you start wondering, did I do everything I can? Did I do enough? Go ahead and just check off your list. Yep, I did everything. I did the right things. I did what I could, and I'm going to let my body do what it does. This is actually a lot like my advice for weight loss, just so you know, in case you've never heard me give advice about weight loss. Your body is going to do some things that you don't understand, that you don't have control over, that seem like mysteries to you, that seem bizarre and out of the ordinary and like maybe they're problematic. That's just your body being your body, and that's totally okay. What you control is your thoughts, which therefore help you control your feelings, which therefore help you control your behaviors, and then let your body shake itself out. It doesn't mean that it's all going to work out perfectly, but it is all going to work out. It is all going to continue moving forward because that's how we move. That is how we understand time and space, is that we continue moving forward. If you don't get it all figured out today, there's very few repercussions. If you don't get it all figured out this week, you might be frustrated for a while. That's totally okay. But there's no timeline on when or how you get it figured out. Start a routine. Move in the direction of having a routine, having your stuff together, having the things in place to get you where you want to go. You're still moving towards where you want to go. Just don't worry about how fast you make progress to get there. You will not I'm not going to promise you that. I was going to promise you that you won't be sleepless forever. You will continue to make progress towards sleeping better as long as you want to make progress towards sleeping better. The thing that will stop your progress is you giving up and saying, never mind, I'm just gonna deal with it and being unhappy about it. As long as you are involved in your process of sleeping better, you are continuing to make progress towards sleeping better. Shireen says, I have rheumatoid arthritis, which I'm totally mispronouncing. I have RA, so pain is just part of life, but I still exercise through it. And that is a different kind of pain, Shireen, when we were talking about pain before. And I'm assuming, since you already have a diagnosis, that you already have a pain plan and that you are under your doctor's care. And that is really different, that when you have chronic pain or pain that you're familiar with, there are times when you can move through pain. Absolutely. Because you have an understanding of your body. I do hope, though, oh, you said that you're 59 and just found my videos through Ageless Women. Oh, that's so exciting. I'm really happy to hear that. But I do hope, though, that you have a protocol for yourself, that on higher pain days that you do something different so that you can really help yourself with the pain versus simply pushing through it. And I do understand. I mean, I have some understanding of RA. I don't have it personally, but I've worked with clients who have RA. And I do understand that there is a certain point where you're just like, if I don't exercise or if I only wait until I'm not in any pain at all, I would never exercise. And that really is a different kind of advice than what I'm talking about with like sudden onset of pain that you've never had before. I think it's Rockin' Girl, but I don't know for sure. Oh my gosh, and then I just lost it. This is what happens sometimes. I try and figure out where I am in the chat. Here it is. Okay, I'm able to work out on a regular basis. I seem to sabotage myself with my diet, especially at night. I'm always hungry at night. Rockin' Girl or Rock and Roll Girl? Rock and Roll Girl, maybe. RKNRLGRL. Rock and Roll Girl. That's what I'm going to call you. Rock and Roll Girl. I'm going to tell you a couple of things. Number one, could be a thought. Could be a thought that I'm always hungry at night. Well, that is a thought. I'm always hungry at night is a thought, but there could be some actual physical reasons for that. Being hungry at night sometimes is because we've been super, super, super restrictive during the day. We all do this thing where we're like, I'm going to have the smallest breakfast possible because I don't want to run out of calories at such and such time. Here's what I'm going to tell you though. When you're eating the right number of calories, you are going to be hungry at times when it's time to eat, but should not be going to bed hungry. You should not feel excessively hungry. If you feel excessively hungry, you're not eating the right number of calories. Feel free to recalculate. Feel free to be a scientist and figure out what's going on here. But what we frequently do is we don't eat enough calories earlier in the day. And then we get to the nighttime and we're hungry because we haven't had enough calories during the day. And then we eat too much. I don't know if this happens to you. It happens to me all the time. When I get right past being the right amount of hungry, I don't feel like I can stop myself because I have gotten too hungry. I don't like feeling like that. I don't like feeling that kind of out of control, which is why I'm careful to think about my thoughts earlier in the day. I eat earlier in the day. I actually have a pretty good sized breakfast. I have about 4, maybe even 450 calories for breakfast most days. Sometimes even more than that. Kind of depends on how much I've worked out and what I've got coming up in the day. If I know that I have a really busy day, then I make sure that I really eat plenty to give myself the brain power and the physical power, the energy to get through what I need to get through. So I would really take a look at your habits, like when you're eating, and I would also take a look at what you're telling yourself about how I get really hungry at night. There's two components there that are working together that can then make you feel very frustrated because you're having a hard time getting the results that you want. But it could just be a really subtle shift in your habits and a subtle shift in what you're thinking that can really help you get exactly where you want to go. Excuse me. RIG says, Paula, I did one of your cardio workouts with 2 versions of the deadlift 2 days ago. My thighs still feel sore and it's awesome. I appreciate that your workouts are for all levels. I love that. Sometimes I really do like knowing that I had that workout. It's like, wow, I did something really different a couple days ago. That's such a fun feeling. Brack says, I'm coming back from injury and my body is weak from the break, but my mind is still at the fitness level I was pre-injury, if that makes sense. Oh, absolutely. Any advice on how to deal with having to slow down? Yes. Be patient with yourself. Here's the thing that I tell myself all the time, literally every day, literally every single day. I know what the right thing to do is, because I do. I know what the right thing to do is. The right thing is to exercise the right amount. When I tell myself that I know what the right thing to do is, it helps me not listen to monkey brain that says that's not enough. You should be doing more. You could go faster. You could go farther. Why don't you do more? Doing more is almost never the answer. And doing the right thing is the answer. Remind yourself that you know the right thing. You're coming back from an injury. You know what you need to do. You need to start small. You need to start slow. You need to be careful. You don't want to injure yourself again. Remind yourself of that constantly, constantly, constantly. Your monkey brain is going to throw that not enough nonsense at you constantly. Constantly. That's just what it does. That's totally okay. You don't have to listen to it. It's offering you this thought. Like you have a thought menu and your brain is going to be like, how about this one? Wouldn't you like today's special? It's the not enough. You don't have to order that off the menu. You really don't. If it doesn't sound good, don't order it. Feel free to choose something on the enough menu for today or the just right menu for today, because you know what to do. You know that you have to do just right. So you help yourself not be injured. MM says, question, I drink a lot, exercise 5 hours a day, and there is never sweat. MM, I'm going to tell you that exercising, wow, I totally dropped my phone. I apologize. Exercising 5 hours a day is more than likely too much, and that not having enough sweat or not sweating could be a medical issue. I'm actually going to refer you to your doctor for this one. This is outside my area of expertise. BB says, hello to you from Holland, and Tita is here from Denmark. I apologize. I know I messed up your name. I do apologize, but hello. I love that you guys come from all around the world. It's so exciting. Rock and Roll Girl, whose name I'm still calling you Rock and Roll Girl, says, I'm doing your 31-day workouts. Are those enough? Yes, indeed. Should I be doing other exercises in addition to your workouts? This is what we were just talking about with enough. Here, let me tell you in no uncertain terms. Here it is. Here it is, you guys. If you are looking to lose weight specifically, because you're doing the 31-day workouts, I'm assuming you're trying to lose weight, or that you are losing weight rather than trying. You're losing weight. You can lose weight without exercising at all. Just let that sink in. Hear it, write it down, make it your new mantra, believe it, live it. That was kind of a Fast Times at Ridgemont High quote. You do not need to exercise more. You do not. There might be times in your life when exercising a little bit more here or there for a really specific reason absolutely makes sense. You might be training for something that you need to be exercising in a certain way. Absolutely. For weight loss, really specifically, exercise is not the driver of weight loss. It's not. We fitness trainers, we want to tell you when you exercise, this is how you lose weight. This is how you can lose fat, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't work that way. Your body loses weight when it is in a constant, consistent caloric deficit. Exercise can help you be in a caloric deficit, but the only way to know for sure that you're in a caloric deficit is to eat the right number of calories. Eating the right number of calories is the way to lose weight. Exercise can be helpful, but it is not the driver of weight loss, because when your body takes in energy through food, it doesn't just then put it right back out. It's not like an in and out flow. I mean, kind of is. But even that, you know this. You eat something, it takes anywhere between 12 and 72 hours to process through the outflow. That's how exercise is. Exercise is an outflow. Your body stores the energy for later. Otherwise, you'd have to eat constantly in order to do literally anything. So when you take in energy, your body stores it for later in a couple of different ways. I mean, some of it is meant for quick energy. Some of it is meant for slightly longer term energy, like, all day long. And some of it is meant for later. That's fat storage. That's just later. We'll tap into that at some other time. The only way to In fact, we don't guarantee. We never guarantee where energy is coming from when we put it out. And just so you know, you are literally always putting out energy, blinking, your heart beating, your lungs breathing, your pancreas doing what your pancreas does. Everything you do puts out energy. You are always burning calories, always, 100% of the time, all day, every day, you are burning calories. So simply trying to think of it like, oh, when I exercise is when I'm burning calories. No, during that 30 minutes that you are exercising, you would already be burning calories. You would probably be burning some percentage of whatever it is. When you raise your heart rate, you're burning at a slightly elevated level. Notice the word slightly. It's not a lot. If you are exercising for 30 minutes and burning, I'm going to just do some round numbers, and this is a guess, just so you know, and burning 300 calories, you might have, by doing absolutely nothing, burned 150 to 200 anyways. That 300 that we all think, oh, now I've got 300 calories gone. You might have already burned that much anyways by doing nothing. Exercise does not make you lose weight. You do not have to do more. And sometimes doing more is the problem. Your body gets energy from wherever it wants to get energy from. This is what I was saying about how you control what comes in. You have zero control of where it goes out from. Sometimes your body will do something odd, and it's not odd for your body. Your body does what it's supposed to do in all manner, all the time. And sometimes we don't understand why it's doing what it's doing, but it does what it's supposed to do based on its understanding of what's going on. Your body can only deal with what input you have given it, and then it does what it thinks is the best response for that input. So when you are exercising too much, your body could perceive that as stress, which is what happens. Your body does like an inflammation response and it perceives it as stress. It's supposed to. That's what exercise does. But then from that inflammation response, your body might be like, whoa, hey, this is problematic. I need to store fat for later. This is what we were talking about way early in the live about how when your body is like chronically stressed, it is going to store fat. That's how it responds to stress. So exercising too much is frequently the problem because we think, oh, I'm burning calories. Not necessarily. Sometimes, honestly, sometimes you're burning muscle. Sometimes you're burning the calories that came from the food that you just ate. Sometimes you are burning the fuel that your body has stored in your muscles or your liver. Sometimes you're burning, those are the places that I know about. You don't have any control over that. It's fascinating, right? Like when you think about it like that. Donna, oh my gosh, thank you so much for the super chat. That was very nice of you. I'm going to scroll through and see if you had a question attached to that. I don't see. Oh, I see that you got the little fitness pair. I love that guy. I'm giving the thumbs up. Thank you so much. I'm going to see if you had a question attached to it though, because I want to make sure that I get to that. It doesn't look like you did, but Donna, if you do have a question, be sure to put it in the chat so I can make sure that I get to that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Okay, you guys, there are lots more questions. Kumi, whose name I'm probably mispronouncing. Oh my God, my baby loves listening to your voice. She stopped crying and started smiling. That's so sweet. I love it. Oh, sweet babish. I feel like I've missed a couple of these and I apologize. I was trying to skim through the chat and now I don't know where I was. You guys, there's only so much I can do with the chats. Shayla says, hi, Paula. I'm working on keeping my heart rate. Doctor told me a number. Okay, good for a moderate workout. It's stressing me out. Oh, I feel like all I do is look at my Fitbit. Any ideas on how not to stress? It feels too slow. Oh, isn't that fascinating? Okay. So you know what? This is kind of a mindset thing too. And I will tell you that the way that you know it's a mindset is because you're telling me how you feel. You feel stressed, and that means that you're having a thought of probably, I'm assuming I have to do something and I'm not doing very well and this is difficult, and probably lots of different thoughts going on with that. And you can take some time to kind of parse out all the different things that you're thinking. What I will tell you though, as far as getting done what you need to get done, probably the most helpful thought is simply I'm doing this for a reason. If your doctor told you a really specific number, there's a really specific reason. You are perfectly capable of finding that amount. It just means that you need to pay attention. And paying attention is good for you anyways. I mean, I know that lots of us would really rather just follow along with the girl on the screen and not think too hard about it. But generally speaking, no, not even generally speaking, literally every time you work out, it is in your best interest to really pay attention. Pay attention to how your body feels. Pay attention to how your heart feels. Pay attention to how your muscles feel. Pay attention to what you're doing. Pay attention to whether or not you've pulled in your core. Paying attention is the thing that actually gets you results. And specifically, Shayla, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, by the way. And I feel like we've even had this conversation because I feel like you are over in the killer beehive, and I feel like I have pronounced your name numerous times, and I really hope that I got it right. But if your doctor is telling you that you need to do something really specifically for a really specific reason, then what you need to do is pay attention to how that feels. You're telling me it feels too slow right now, but that's a thought. I mean, it is a feeling, but it's also a thought. It's a thought, oh, I'm not doing enough. I could go faster. I could go harder. I don't want to be going this slow. It's bad to go this slow. Probably all kinds of judgy things that you're telling yourself. This is when I remind myself, literally every day, I'm doing the right thing to get what I want out of this. And again, I'm assuming if you have talked to your doctor about your heart rate, I'm going to assume that there's a really specific heart reason. And heart disease, my friend, is the #1 killer in America. Heart disease is preventable in a lot of ways. One of them is doing exactly what your doctor says. So you have a really, really, really good and compelling reason to keep your heart rate at the exact right number. Sometimes I make a game of it, like when I'm feeling particularly monkey brain, like I want to do more, I should do more, I could do more, I'd like to do more, I would feel better if I did more, blah, 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 blah. All those things that monkey brain offers you off of the menu of not enough. Sometimes I make a game of how moderate can I go? like I literally try to slow myself down and get competitive with how moderate I can be. Like, I wonder if I can go even more moderate than this, because I love being competitive and that works for me. That makes me feel fun and involved, and like it's a good thing that I'm doing for myself. Whatever you need to think to feel like you are doing the right thing for yourself, to feel like what you're doing is the right thing, not the enough thing. Your brain is always going to tell you it's not enough. Always. I mean, always. That's what your brain is going to do. That's what your brain is supposed to do. There's always more to be done. You could literally always do more, but doing more isn't necessarily the right thing. So ignoring the more message and paying attention to the right amount message, it's just going to take some practice. It's going to take some practice. And for the time being, yeah, you might be looking at your Fitbit a lot. You might really be paying attention to it. That's totally okay. It's a learning curve, just like when you learn anything. I mean, I don't know if you've learned a new skill somewhat recently, but surely you remember learning a new skill like when you were a kid. It's hard at first. You have to pay so much attention to it. It doesn't feel fun. It doesn't feel relaxing. It doesn't feel good. It feels hard. That's totally okay. Let it be hard, because you are going to be doing the right thing when you get this skill under control. You're not going to be looking at your Fitbit forever. I promise. You will figure out exactly where that heart rate, like kind of what it feels like. Like I have a sense of where my heart rate is. Maybe not all the time. I mean, certainly not all the time, but I have a sense of approximately where my heart rate is when we're exercising and when I'm sitting still and when I'm doing things. Like, you'll get a feel for it, and then it won't be so difficult. JF says, what does your weekly workout regimen look like? In other words, how can I get my body to look like yours at 50? You know what? Doing my workouts is not the thing that's going to make you look however you want to look. There are so many different things involved. I do appreciate the question, and I am going to answer your question, but I'm going to just tell you really quickly that the way that I look is based on genetics partly. I mean, truly, this build, I did not do much for this. But the way that I look has to do with lots of things that I do. I make sleep a huge priority. Huge. I go to bed really early. I also wake up really early, but I go to bed really early because it's really, really, really important to me to get enough sleep every night. I was going to say I'm really careful about what I eat, but I'm not really careful about what I eat. I'm pretty careful about what I eat. I think about what I eat. I pay attention to what I eat. I try very hard to make a lot of decisions. I'm not going to say all the time, not always. I make a lot of decisions based on how I'm going to feel later, which is why I gave up coffee. It's why I gave up alcohol. I try very hard to drink the right amount of water. That is something that I still work on. That is actually a thought that I still work on pretty frequently, is drinking enough water. I do exercise every day. My workout routine is actually in the middle of some big changes right now for a lot of different reasons. I don't have a very good routine right now, and it's something that I'm kind of trying to figure out, to be honest with you. Right now, I run 3 or 4 days a week. I walk a little bit every day. I do some kind of core strengthening almost every day. I do strength training about twice a week. I'd like to do more. That's actually part of why my routine is about to change, is because I'd really like to do more, and I'm trying to figure out exactly when and how I'm going to be able to do that, and when and how I'm going to make it fun and interesting, because I've been thinking this for a while and I haven't made it happen, which means that I must be thinking something demotivating, right? like I know how this works. If I'm not doing something that I want to be doing, then I must be thinking that I don't want to be thinking, and I need to figure out what to think to get me where I want to go. So, all those things, they all work together. It's not just one thing or another. And I will also tell you, depending on where you're starting, if you simply jump in and try and do exactly what I'm doing right now, you're probably going to injure yourself. I've been doing this for a long time. I mean, I've been working at this body for a long time. I'm about 15 years into my fitness journey and my eating journey and my running journey and all those kinds of things. A lot of where I am right now is because of all the places that I've been before now. I didn't look like this 10 years ago. I looked 10 years younger for one thing. But I was thinner in a way. I weighed about what I weigh right now, but I was thinner because I didn't have as much muscle. And I was also pretty constantly injured when I was 40. So I mean, there's trade-offs. There's trade-offs sometimes with what you're doing and what results you're getting out of it. Simply looking a certain way. This is why I really, really don't emphasize the way we look as what you're going to get out of exercising, is because the way you look has almost nothing to do with your life. What you can do is the thing that you should be aiming for, that I am aiming for. I want to be able to do things. I want to actually right now, I mean, again, this is part of what's changing in my exercise routine. Running long distances doesn't feel as good as it used to. And I love running long distances. And it's really kind of been a mindset shift for me to think, what would I do without running long distances? Because I still love to run and I'm still really enjoying running shorter distances, but I miss that idea of training for something kind of bigger than just running a little bit every day. And so I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do next? And one of the things that I'm thinking about doing is adventure racing is something that I just started kind of looking into, which I don't know anything about, like nothing. If you know anything about adventure racing, hit me up. Tell me what you know. I'm also really considering doing a lot more hiking. There are gorgeous hills and mountains and places to hike around here that I would love to take advantage of. There are other things that I would really like to do, and that is where my training is going to need to change. I don't just get to do the same things that I've always done because I'm not training for the same things that I've always trained for. And that means that I need to work in more strength training, like I was talking about. That was a long answer for a really short question. Sally says, hello from Tumwater, Washington. I know exactly where that is. I used to live lots of places in Washington. One of the places that I lived in Washington was Tacoma. I lived in, when my husband was at what is now, or worked at what is now Joint McCord Lewis McCord. I don't know how they say it. At the time, it was just Fort Lewis when we lived there. So I lived in Lacey, I lived in Lakewood, I lived in Tacoma, and then we finally lived on Post. We lived there for 4 years and I lived in 4 different places. Anyways, Sally says that she loves my workouts. Thank you. I appreciate that. Oh, Michelle, I love this question. What is your opinion on soma typing, aka body typing training? I have opinions that are not fully formed. I have heard of this, and I have some vague ideas that I don't really talk about because that's all they are, is kind of vague ideas. I do actually believe that there are types, but I don't necessarily have a big handle on exactly what the types are or exactly how the types would work. I'm super interested in like Eastern versions of body typing. I'm super interested in all kinds of typing things because I have long since learned, I mean, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that we are all kind of an experiment of one, that one way of training does not work for everybody. One way of eating does not work for everybody. One way of doing anything does not work for everybody. And therefore, are there groupings of types that could really benefit from one thing or another? I do personally kind of believe, without knowing the terminology really specifically, and again, this is me having vague ideas. I do believe that there are some people, and I count myself among them, some people who are really, really well situated for endurance work, that we tend to do okay with eating more carbs than maybe other people. We tend to have kind of small bones. We tend to enjoy and be good at endurance type events. This is definitely me. I'm an endurance girl. I'm a cardio girl. I do feel like that is kind of a type. And I also feel that there is perhaps a type that is bigger boned and more attuned to and enjoys slower moving, but still very powerful work, like strength training, like heavy lifting, power lifting kind of work that would tend to put on muscle better, that does much better eating more protein and fewer carbs, and just operates better with that kind of motion and that kind of eating. And then therefore, I also think that there's a type that's kind of in the middle that tends to be more of like an hourglass type shape that can kind of do a balance of everything. Like it really is like the beautiful middle of it all, the balancing in the middle of you can eat protein, you can eat carbs, you can do cardio, you can do strength. Like you can kind of do it all and get the results that you're looking for and feel good and kind of have it all. And I find that really interesting. But again, I don't really talk about that a lot because I don't have a ton of science behind it. I don't have a lot of research of my own. By research, I mean reading on the internet. Because I have done some, I would call it research with like personal clients. There are definitely clients who are far more inclined to love strength training. There are definitely clients who are far more inclined to love cardio work. There are definitely clients who are far more capable of balancing it all. Like I've done that kind of research for myself, like anecdotal research. But as far as like putting it out there and telling you this kind of workout, today's workout is for, I don't even know the names, ectomorphs or whatever. Like I don't even know how I would do that. So yes, I have opinions. Don't you love it when I talk for a long time on the tiniest little question? You guys, I've really only got time for a couple more questions. This has been amazing today. And thank you all for being here. But I'm not going to be able to get to like every single person. I'm going to try and get to a couple more questions here. Oh, Baby says she called my name and now I feel special. I love it. Don't you love that? This is why I try really hard to at least say hello to as many people as I can. I mean, Lorraine says, hi, Paula, going to have another weight loss over 50. Oh, yes, this is a question. I apologize. I didn't see that was a question. Lorraine, yes, I am. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys now. I'm going to promise it now, even though I haven't even started filming it or done anything for it. I loved last January's 31-day series. I loved it. I'm going to do it again. I'm going to have another series in January. I find that to be a really good time of year. I I have gotten so much positive feedback about how helpful it is to have a series that you can repeat again and again and again, where you don't have to think about what day it is. You don't have to think about what's coming next. You know it's balanced. You know it's ready for you. Boom and done. I'm definitely going to do another one of those. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. My chat just skipped. Oh, you guys, I get to kick somebody out of the chat. How does this work? What do I do? Gosh darn it. Let me see if I can remove. Hide you. I'm just going to hide the user. You know what's so funny? Do you know what is so funny, you guys? When I was falling asleep last night and I was thinking to myself, what do I need to do for tomorrow? And I had already taken some notes. I meant to and then didn't figure out how to take care of a situation like that. We just had somebody in the chat, and hopefully you didn't see it. I really apologize. Somebody in the chat was just writing some things that were wildly inappropriate. I had like almost a premonition that I knew I was going to need to moderate the chat today. And like 99.9% of the time, you guys are so awesome. I love you all and you're amazing. But I know that right around now on YouTube, I mean, I have 130,000 subscribers. I'm getting to the point where sometimes I have to be a lot more careful with my comments. I moderate my comments way more than I used to. Sometimes I get people writing just inappropriate, rude things. And I was even thinking that I would need to learn how to do that. And it wasn't that hard. And I'm super happy about that. You guys. Oh my gosh. Oh, Tina, I love this question. Says, hi, Paula, I'm a newbie. Yay. Thank you for being here, Tina. I struggle with drinking enough water. Is it okay to use water enhancers? They say 0 calories. Not sure if that's okay. So here's my opinion about that. And it really is an opinion. My opinion is that it is important to drink water. And that it is also my opinion that much like what I was saying about how, like when I first started losing weight, how I really just started with the junk food that I was eating. And then I got better at it. Start where you are. Like, track how much water you drink right now. Figure out how to add a little bit more to that. If that means water enhancers, if that means putting lemon in your water, if that means counting other things that you drink because they are hydrating more than not hydrating. I fully believe that you should always give yourself credit for doing your best. Like there's no upside to feeling down about yourself. There's no upside to beating yourself up about not being able to drink water. Like, I mean, you heard how I was talking about it. Like, this is something that I'm working on. It's totally okay to be working on something. You don't have to be perfect. You never have to be perfect. You can figure out over time a good way to get where you want to go. Maybe that's water enhancers. Maybe it's not. I will tell you, I do have an opinion about water enhancers because, I mean, if they have 0 calories, they're not actually giving you anything. And that does tend to mean that they're probably chemicals. Which one's more healthy for you? Not drinking, or which one's least healthy for you? Like not drinking water or drinking water with chemicals. It's kind of a 6 one way, half dozen the other. Your goal is definitely going to be to drink water, plain water. But if you can't do that right now and you're figuring out ways how, get there how you get there. That's totally okay. I don't like flavored water. So I mean, I have opinions about this, but that doesn't mean they're going to be helpful for you. I really like the taste of water. So therefore I don't struggle with the taste. What I struggle with far more is kind of the excuses of, oh, if I'm going to be filming, I don't want to have to go to the bathroom in the middle of it, so I won't drink right now. Like I do this thing where I put off drinking water until it's going to be convenient, and it's never convenient. So that's my own issue. For me, it's all a thought process about convenience. For you, it might be the flavor. Figure it out. Totally, totally okay to be in a place where you are figuring things out. In fact, that's a beautiful place to be. Don't you love that? Like, this is where all the power is. You are capable of figuring out anything. It's amazing, right? Right? I love it. Okay. Oh my gosh, there were so many more comments and I feel like I was like bouncing all around with them. Linda says, hi, Paula. First of all, thank you so much for all your great workouts. I already did strength training when I found your channel. Oh, thank goodness. Don't you love that? You were already doing strength training. I find so many more people who come to me because they're looking for cardio and then I have to talk them into strength. But thanks to you, I started doing at-home cardio and I'm really enjoying it. That is so awesome. I love it. Anna says, Anna or maybe Anna, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing your name, says, I'm new at counting calories, so how do I know how many calories one item is worth, specifically the items that come with no nutritional facts like meats, a margarita, or eating out? Here's the thing. I love Google. Truly, Google it and let it be a guess. It's totally okay. Again, especially if you're brand new to this, start where you are. There's no timeline for needing to be perfect in the first 3 days. There's the only pressure that is on you is pressure that you are putting on yourself to get it right. You're going to figure this out. Just like we were talking about, totally okay to be in a place where you're figuring it out. I love to Google things. And then you'll find that there's like this huge range. Like, how much is a slice of banana bread? Well, it depends on who made it. Take a guess. I usually kind of pick one in the middle, or if I can tell, if I'm making my own banana bread, I know exactly what I put into it. If I'm eating out and there's a piece of banana bread or a banana muffin or, something like that, I assume it's on the higher end. Generally speaking, restaurants, bakeries, etc., they're being a little bit more generous with the oil and the butter and the sugar than I am at home. I'm a little bit more stingy with my oil and butter and sugar at home. So I tend to go on the slightly higher end. It's kind of always a guess, just so you know. I want to put your mind at ease for this. Even if the package tells you this is 258 calories, your body may or may not actually get 258 calories out of that item. Even if something says it has some kind of nutritional information, your specific body, based on the things that you eat regularly, based on your hydration, based on how well you've slept, based on what you have done recently or are going to do later in the day, based on the bacteria that you have in your gut, your personal body might not digest and get that many calories out of what you've eaten. Isn't that amazing? It's always a guess. Don't let that get in your head. Don't let that be the reason why you're not trying to count. It always being a guess offers you the freedom to say, this is what I think. This is what I'm going to put into my tracker, and I'm going to let it go at that. Again, your monkey brain is going to offer you, but what if that's wrong? Your monkey brain always has something terrible to offer you. This is like the worst restaurant menu in the world, right? Like, what if you're wrong? Yeah, what if you are? It's totally okay not to be. You're welcome to think, I'm doing my best. I'm learning, I'm practicing. This is as good as I can do right now. And I'm going to keep learning to get even better than this. I'm going to pay attention to how this is working for me. Your monkey brain has so many terrible things to say to you. Linda says, best regards from cold and rainy Germany, where it's probably afternoon, I think. That is so wonderful. Thank you for being here from cold and rainy Germany. Susan says, I use MyFitnessPal for calorie, macros, nutrient counts. Yeah, great free app. Yeah, exactly. It's lovely to help yourself to any kind of the calorie trackers. They're all essentially the same. I strongly recommend that you get your personal calorie target by calculating it for yourself. Don't let the apps tell you how much to eat. They're all going to tell you 1,200 calories and it's never enough. And they're all going to let you eat back your calories from exercise. It's a terrible way of thinking about it. Calculate it for yourself. If you need to know how to calculate it, I have a free ebook that is nowhere accessible right here. And I apologize for that. But here's the thing. On any of my weight loss videos, any of them that say weight loss in the title, there is a link in the description box to get my free weight loss resource that has the calorie calculators. It explains literally everything I know about losing weight. Super helpful. Help yourself to that. Excuse me. Della says, I agree. I don't pay attention to what I'm doing and try and keep up with the fitness professionals in videos. I wind up injuring myself or becoming discouraged. Exactly. You just get to be you. Being you is like the best thing in the world. It's amazing to be you and be right where you are, right? I love it. I love it. Going your own pace has gotten you the best results. I love it. Darby, what a beautiful name that is. Says, hi, Paula. I love working out with you in the morning. I think you're awesome. Thank you. I think you're awesome too. You guys, I'm going to see if I have one more relatively easy question. You know, I got two of them right here. Susan says, do you put your daily routines on paper? Yes, like my own personal ones. Yes. And that's actually something that I'm working on right now as I am figuring out exactly how to do my own strength training, because I'm not going to film 2 strength training workouts every week. So that means that I am going to be doing some on my own. I am actually, that is part of my current figuring out, like, what do I want to do? For walking or running, yes, I have a plan for that. That's on paper. For the ones that I film, yes, I write them on paper first. I have to go through like this long process to get the workouts to you. I write them all on paper first. I have a notebook. In fact, now at this point, I think I have 6 or maybe even 7 notebooks. I have a notebook that has the workout routine with the timing and the everything else. And then I put it on my whiteboard. And then my whiteboard is the thing that I look at while we are working out together. So yes, I write things down. I'm old fashioned like that. I love to write things down. And then Straight Edge Vegan Bell says, how long do you run when you run? Totally depends. Right now, my sweet spot is 3 miles. I love running a 5K. It's just enough. It feels good. The monkey chatter quiets down when I've run 3 miles. It's not too much. It's not too little. It's really lovely for me right now. I used to run longer. Sometimes I run less than that. It really depends. But for me right this minute, at this point in my lifetime, a 5K feels really like the sweet spot. Okay, you guys, I think there were more questions and more comments and more all kinds of things that I could answer. But you guys, we gotta wrap this up. Otherwise, I could be here all day. I will see you. Well, I will see you lots of places. I will see you in the videos. I will see you at next month's live on the last Wednesday of the month. I'm actually, you guys, I would love some feedback on this. I am thinking about doing like the month of December, doing a live each week. It's like been on my kind of mind that I know that December is super busy for us. And so trying to like work in workouts and all those kinds of things, I thought it would be just kind of fun to kind of hang out together a little bit more during the month of December. So I would love some feedback on that. I will see you on Facebook if you're on Facebook. I'll see you here if you're here. I'll see you in the comments. I'll see you in your basement, maybe on your TV. I'll see you all kinds of places. You guys, thank you so much for being here today. It was wonderful to be with you all. See you next time.